It's Thursday, November something. A day that some of us celebrate by cooking and devouring a dead bird. This is my own sacrificial bird for the day. His name is Butterball, and he weighs just a little shy of 15 pounds. I think that should be enough. For me, at least. Now, after Mr. Butterball is appropriately washed and waxed, we stuff him with a bunch of stuff. A handful of onion, just roughly quartered. Doesn't matter. I mix in a little bit of apple, just because I have one and I think it might be interesting. And a wad of Italian parsley. And you just keep going until you can't get anything else into him. And when he's either stuffed full or you run out of stuff, you quit. And we put his little legs back under his little flap. And sprinkle him generously with a little salt and pepper. And then we break out the trusty hypodemic nurdle and shoot him up. I'm using a combination of 1 cup of chicken stock. What do you want? Seriously? Interruption. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. The chicken stock. About a half a stick of butter. All of it. A heaping tablespoon of Lea and Perrins. And a touch of your favorite hot sauce. To taste. Mix this together thoroughly. And then load him up. We'll go into the breast. Right now. In a couple or 3 places. Maybe into the leg, just because. And anywhere else you feel like poking it. And whatever is left over we'll use for basting later. And next, I fire up Mr. Grill. I'm going to smoke him. over a combination of apple and cherry. Now I've preheated the grill to somewhere around 400. That's not critical at this point. Set this monster in here without burning myself. And set up the Maverick probes. Here now. Alright. One for the chamber temperature. And the meat probe I'm going to stick into the thickest part of the breast for now. I'll check the thigh with it later. And that's it. I'll stabilize it at about 325 and run it for about 3.5 hours. Terrible weather we're having today, isn't it? The transmitter out here is alternating between the meat temperature and the chamber temperature. And in the house, while I'm doing other things, the receiver lets me know what's going on out there. So while the turkey is doing its thing, I can get started on the sweet potatoes. I'm doing Hilah Johnson's recipe. I'll put a link to it down in the description. First thing you do is peel them. Actually, you can peel them or not, as you choose. Now I'm cutting them into something approximating 1-inch cubes. Or 1-inch shapes. Whatever. About that big. Now down here in a big bowl, she calls for 3 tablespoons of butter. I'm just using the other half of the stick that I used for the injecting stuff, which is actually 4 tablespoons. More butter, more better. And now a heaping tablespoon or so of honey. Hurry up, we got things to do here. A couple of teaspoons or thereabouts of lime juice, a ½ teaspoon of salt, and a ½ teaspoon of pepper. And I'm tossing in a sprinkle of cayenne and about a ½ teaspoon of rosemary. Mix all this together. And dump in the sweet potatoes. And mix it all around. until the potatoes are all thoroughly coated. And this mixing is actually better accomplished with a spoon. And when they're thoroughly mixed and those non-union pieces are dealt with, spray an appropriate container. In this case I'm using a pie plate with cooking spray and dump them in. And they will go into a 350-degree oven for 40 or 50 minutes or so. Now some Brussels sprouts. Some nice small tender ones I just got a hold of. I'm going to roast them along with the sweet potatoes. Drizzled with a little bit of EVOO. And some salt. And some pepper. And the finishing touch, bacon. This is about 3 slices, and it's a half a pound of Brussels sprouts. I think this will work. They will probably take about 45 minutes or so. Now for the stuffing. Got 5 tablespoons of butter, 3 stalks of celery, and an onion. We will saute them until they go a little limp. Now I've added the 2 cups of homemade turkey stock that was warming up over here. And yes, I'm cheating. One bag of Pepperidge Farm's cornbread stuffing. Mix this all together. Should have used a bigger pan. Now when it's more or less mixed together, I'm throwing in some sliced portobellos, and I'll sort of fold, come back here. As I was saying, I will fold them in gently so as to not bruise them too terribly, if that's even possible. Chat amongst yourselves. Now this all goes into an 8 by 8 inch baking dish. Sort of smush it down. And it goes into the oven with everything else. Turkey is done, so now I can take the drippings, about a cup of drippings and juices. I've mixed them with 4 tablespoons of flour to make a roux. And it's been cooking for a few minutes now. So I start adding liquid. About a cup at a time. Got some of the giblet juice. And about now I can start adding the giblets. I cooked them yesterday so they would be out of the way and ready to go. Get in there, all of you. Just bring it up to a simmer, keep stirring, and let it do its thing. And keep adding liquid till it's the consistency that you want. So while the gravy thickens, it's time to take a look at this bird. Get this out of the way. Let's see what's in here. Oh, yes. Hot. Let's go. Beautiful. Juice is just dripping out of it. It's about time to get this on a plate. Sample time. I do love what the pairing of the cherry and apple woods did to it. It's a very mellow, fruity addition to it. It's great. I love it. Love it, love it. Get this on a plate. And there we have it. Now just add the finishing touch. The giblet gravy. Lots of it. And it's time to commit turkey piggery. Cherry and apple smoked turkey. Homemade stuffing out of a bag. Butter and honey roasted sweet potatoes, and they are delicious. And the roasted Brussels sprouts with bacon. And of course, a touch of the grape. Do excuse me. Happy Turkey Day.